Yeah, and we saw some of that in what you said when you reported earnings last month. They were 26% above the expectations, but you set new targets in terms of what you want to achieve. One of those targets is you want to bring more money into your wealth management business. Tell us about it.
That's true. So what we did is basically reaffirmed our strategy. You know, about 7 years ago when we looked at the strategy, we changed the way we ran the bank. Now, a couple of years later, we've given different market developments. We wanted to look at whether that's still in place. And we felt that is the case. But we have some targeted growth initiative. One is really our ultra business, and we're the only truly global wealth manager with a large amount of clients in the ultra space, that is the richest individuals and the richest people in our economies. And we want to grow that business by 70 billion over the next 3 years, largely focused on growing our U.S. business. And that is something where we feel, unlike a couple of years ago, we're expanding our global business. And in particular, with the U.S. being a strong market, we're expanding our U.S. business.
How do you do that, Axel? How do you do that, grow a business, when you're seeing such uncertainty and worry in a market where the market will be down 600 points one day and up 600 the next day? How do you invest that money and make the case for these very wealthy individuals that you want UBS to be handling that allocation?
Well, I think what you're seeing in the next 2 years is diversification will become much more important than it has been in the past, even for U.S.-based investors. So U.S.-based investors typically have a very strong bias in their portfolio towards U.S. investments. As the U.S. economy is starting to see some soft spots, and as emerging markets are coming out of a correction, you will start to see investors looking globally at a different mix between developed markets and emerging markets. You will also see them look at a different balance between fixed income and equity investment. And as a global investor, we can bring that diversification to clients, and we can help them invest. Part of what we're also very good at, and what we're expanding, is investment in sustainability. And that in particular is very attractive for the richest clients that we have, because they want to see their investments also raise sustainability, and many of the clients around the globe look at sustainable investment as a new form which is underrepresented in their portfolio, and we have a targeted initiative in that area too.
That's a good point. And I know these are investors that want long-term performance. They're not looking to, make major moves overnight. I want to get back to that because that's an important point. Let me get your reaction, though, first to this breaking news overnight, and that is about Deutsche Bank, a competitor of yours. Authorities raided Deutsche Bank's headquarters as part of a probe into money laundering. Now there's expectations that this company has gotten so weak, it's going to need some kind of a takeover. Anybody's guess whether or not the German government will allow its largest bank to be acquired by another. But would UBS be interested in acquiring Deutsche Bank?
No, I think what we've said already in the past is we're looking for targeted growth in our areas where we have expertise, and we're a wealth manager. And wealth management and asset management is the core of what we do, and we continue to look at that. We don't rule out inorganic options, but it will not be full-fledged mergers. It will be more targeted acquisitions in the areas where we already excel, where we feel that we have a value proposition, and we want to expand that value proposition.
Any issues that are still ongoing that you can tell us about with regard to UBS in terms of any of these regulatory or rulings from, I know the French court was ruling on a trial back in February for UBS, or is that now in the rearview mirror for the company?
It's not yet. We have a verdict that comes out in February, so there will be no new news until then. We're still in discussions with authorities. We have not forgone the ability to settle the two remaining issues that we have. And for us, really, what matters going forward is to not have new issues emerge. So we're very focused on compliance. We're very focused on operational risk and dealing with them, cyber resilience. So we really want to avoid problems in the future, and we've learned our lessons from the past.
And I know that was a priority of yours when you first stepped into the role.
Absolutely.
Let's get the bad news out of the way and deal with this. Your thoughts on the regulatory environment in general? The president in the U.S. obviously has rolled back a number of regulations. How does the industry change from that standpoint?
I think the U.S. is setting the pace here. What we've seen is almost a decade of re-regulation. What is important now is, like with monetary policy normalization, to not overdo it. Of course, you can always roll out additional regulation, but I think banks now need some certainty around the regulatory environment in the future so that they can refocus on supporting the economy. And that is happening in the United States, and I see that happening with some delay in Europe and in Asia Pacific. In Switzerland, we're discussing some of the final regulations around Basel III implementation and too big to fail. But my expectation is by summer next year, we'll have more regulatory certainty, and then we can refocus on doing business and doing business well.
And the investor sentiment right now, in the face of all of this, how does it look? Are you worried about investing in this market today?
I think we see a lot of our clients sit on the sidelines. There is a huge amount of cash sitting on the sidelines. But, you know, in Davos this year, the mood was very good. And I was actually one of the few that wasn't as positive about it.
Right.
We're seeing now a correction that has gone further and was more pronounced than I expected then.
Axel.
I think the market is overdoing it in the other direction at the moment.
Overdue in the other direction.
Absolutely.
Axel, it's great to see you.
Great seeing you.
Thank you so much. The chairman of UBS, Axel Weber.